Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for our post-match review of the game that we just saw between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. As you can see below me here is the score. 21 points to the Wallabies, 38 to the All Blacks at full time. And the All Blacks, they do receive a bonus point in this match. So it is now meaning that they are top of the I almost call it the United Rugby Championship. Been watching too much Northern Hemisphere rugby recently, but it's the Rugby Championship. And they are going to be sitting on 10 points just ahead of the Springboks, who are sitting on 9. We have got a whole heap of you here already. We have got Katie, we have got Rubes, we have got Tame Barry. Also in the chat, AFO. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, but I feel like I may have got that a little bit wrong, unfortunately, there. And also we have got in the chat, Shame you got to feel for Hooper. That guy gave us all. Yeah, he is one of those players who just keeps on going, Michael Hooper. If everyone had the work rate of him out on the field for the Wallabies, I think they would be winning the games because, I mean, he got a sprig to the face originally in the game from Brodie Retallick. He got back out there after the blood bin, had the headgear on, but still kept on giving it his all good game. But real test against our Bok brothers in a couple of weeks, says Pat. It is indeed. And we will be talking about all of the upcoming fixtures on this post-match review as well for both the Wallabies and the All Blacks in the future. We have got Steve Smith has said hello, Hamish. Long time no see. Welcome back, mate. It is good to see you once again. Hooper got run over by Retallick as well, says Immortals. Yeah, unfortunately, he ended up having his head stood on by Big Brodie, and I feel like it's one of those ones. Big Brodie, he's got probably large feet, I would think, so he probably put quite a hole in Michael Hooper's noggin, but did get back out there, so fair play to him. But All Blacks, they lost quite a few players in this match. We're going to be talking about that as well. Cody Taylor injured, Artie Savia injured, red card for Geordie Barrett as well as a big talking point in this one. There is a little bit of a mix in terms of opinions, in terms of whether or not should have been a red card, but we are going to be talking about that one as well. And we have got there, Brother Y, do you have, can you not time them out? People from all over the world are watching as well, says Kwasi. Since that one was right at the end, I did actually end up, I think I clicked on timeout right when I ended the live stream, which is probably why we haven't seen them in this live stream yet. But normally I do try my best to watch the chat, and also I was setting up the next one, but I will keep an eye on it in the future as well. Unfortunately, yeah, some people do get a little bit carried away in the chat and just don't like watching rugby for some reason. We have got what an awesome stream, Hamish. 950 people and 400 plus likes. Only a rugby championship stream can provide that madness as well, says Sebastian. Yeah, it was absolutely insane, the amount of support that we have as well. And we have got there in the chat, Xavier said, do you know how to watch top 14 rugby in Australia? Says Xavier. Right. That is a good question. I know that in New Zealand, we have got Sky is covering 4 of the games each week. Is Stan the same? Someone who has got Stan Sport in the chat, does anyone have Stan? And do let me know if that is the case. But I know for Sky here in New Zealand, they are covering 4 of the games. And that seems to be the stock standard for anyone who is outside of France. They seem to do 4 of the games each week. So we are going to be doing the live commentary for a few of the top 14 games on this channel as well. And I've also got there no other blindside talking, taking Akira's jumper. No, he well and truly had a very good game in this match. Nice suit, mate, as well, says Tame. And best Bledisloe game so far, says Cronies. Both sides had their moments in this one, but unfortunately, they just weren't quite able to get into this game, Australia, until it was just a little bit too late. They actually scored more points than the All Blacks in the second half, which was very nicely done. Yes, I do, and you can. So it would be Stan Sport is your best bet, but I don't think they'll have it anywhere for free, unfortunately, for the top 14. I am sorry. And we have got there, thank you for the live commentary. Be tuning in next game of the ABs, says Michael as well. And while we are at it, we might as well look at the next fixtures of the Rugby Championship for both of these sides. First of all, we will look at New Zealand, and they have got 2 games up against Los Pumas in the coming weeks. 7 days away, 7:05 p.m. Kickoff on Sunday next week, the 12th of September. Then the rematch the week after, and then also it will be the situation of being the All Blacks taking on the Springboks for the 100th match between the two sides on the 25th, and then also we get it the next week after that for the 2nd of October is the next fixture that will be taking place for the Springboks and the All Blacks. And that game, that last game, could be the deciding factor of the Rugby Championship. And I'm just going to hide my scoreboard for a second here, because we do see it is the 10:05 kickoff on the 2nd of October. And what that means is when I show this here, the game before it's going to be Australia versus Argentina. That one may not be too crucial in terms of who is going to win the Rugby Championship, but it means that the last game of the Rugby Championship is going to be the decider. I have a feeling. I think it's going to be that close of a finish for these sides in the Rugby Championship competition. Hey, what's got there in the chat? Adokatu as well, says Tame for who was the fastest NRL player, and y'all totally called the red card though, right card, wrong Barrett as well, says Katie Dixon. That's the thing. There was a red card in the match last year, or the year before, sorry. It was actually Scott Barrett who got the card, but in this one now, it did mean that they were in the situation of Geordie. So 2 years' time, Optus Stadium, Beauden Barrett, unfortunately, is going to be going off the field. It seems like it is just going to be one of those spirals that keeps on happening. We have got their greatest tie air prop. Says Smithy, that's a tough one. I feel like I'll have to leave that one possibly to you, mate, because you know a lot more about those older players than I do. But do let me know who you think is the greatest tight end. And we have got there Michael Hooper, too good for the Australians, to be honest, as well, says Tame, and also have a feeling the Springboks will physically suffocate the life out of New Zealand and sneak it, as well, says Steve Smith. It is a decent point because I feel like the best way that the All Blacks can beat the Springboks, if they can beat the Springboks, is by using that dynamic kicking game that we saw them use today. We saw Beauden Barrett going for cross kicks, the grubbers in behind, Perenara setting up George Bridge, which is that perfect kick in behind. I feel like that's where they've got to go with it. But they also need to make sure they're not just kicking it away for the sake of kicking it away. You got to have something on in that situation to be able to make it happen. 2 intercept tries, the big difference. AB's just more alive, 2 opportunities. Springboks will have to be ruthless in execution, says A. Luja as well. And yeah, that's the thing. In that match, the Springboks, they can score tries, but they also, their defensive wall is phenomenal, the Springboks as well. So it's going to be a tough game for both sides. I just realized we have gone completely off track at this stage, but I absolutely love it because of the fact we are talking all things rugby championship on this post-match review. I haven't even mentioned the try scorers yet. The try scorers for the Wallabies, Falau Fainga'a, Nick White, and also Tom Banks was able to score in the later stages of the match. Then for the All Blacks, early try for Geordie Barrett before getting sent off for the red card. David Arveli able to get 2. Will Jordan, stock standard, always scores a try, that man. Will Jordan also, we have got Anton Leonard-Brown and George Bridge being able to score as well. So all part of the back line, no forward tries for the All Blacks in this matchup. Tough luck for Geordie. How many games will he miss as well, says Neville Singh. I have a bad feeling that it could be 3-match ban. That's just off the top of my head because it seems to be stock standard that they go for 3 weeks, unless, of course, they find a way of being able to kind of change or say that maybe it wasn't as bad as they intentionally or initially thought. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Geordie Barrett. He could be missing the rest of the games of the Rugby Championship at worst there, which would be a big shame for him because this was his opportunity to start in the starting lineup. You know, 15, it has been Damian McKenzie's for a couple of weeks. This time, Geordie Barrett had the chance. He scored the try early, looking good with the ball in hand as well, but unfortunately did end up getting that red card, which did end the night for him. But 6 tries for the All Blacks in this one, 3 for the Wallabies, so they do receive that bonus point and leapfrog South Africa, now sitting on 10 points, the All Blacks, 9 for South Africa. Australia still sitting on 0, and they are going to be down below Argentina in terms of the points differential, I believe, or it might actually, yes, they will. That is the correct one. And we have got, what about the Aussies tackling players around the ruck? Akira Ioane started slapping someone who did it to him. As well as Immortals, I saw a little bit of a rivalry forming for Akira Ioane and it was Samu Karevi, because round the side of the ruck, I guess there were quite a few contacts between both sides, but then also when Akira Ioane set up, I believe it was Anton Leonard-Brown, Akira Ioane kind of looked down at Samu Karevi after he tackled Akira Ioane and kind of was giving him a few words, but Akira Ioane played very well in this game, was able to set up 2 tries for the All Blacks and also just a huge amount of running meters. He was my man of the match by far in this game, but then also a few other very good players were in there as well. Do you think Damian McKenzie comes in now for Barrett? As well as this team, I think Damian McKenzie will be fullback and they will go Beauden Barrett at number 10 until they get Mo'unga back as the option. But then Will Jordan could be a shout. Maybe put Sevu Reece out on the right wing, put Will Jordan at the back, have quite a few Crusaders in that back line. See how it goes. And we have got there, there you are, Kieran, lurking on the side there as well. Yeah, Kieran's kind of fallen over a little bit. Unfortunately, there we go. He's back up. Anyone who's wondering what Kieran is, he's a giant inflatable All Black. As you can see, he's got the logo. He's not just a massive blow-up doll that I have in my lounge. He has a little bit of reasoning for being here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of it. It's got there in the chat as well. Kieran's in the chat from Katie Dixon. But looking quickly through the meters carried, the Wallabies actually having more, 651 meters carried to the 532 of the All Blacks. Then from their defenders beaten, the Wallabies had more, 25 defenders beaten to the 19. Clean breaks, 8 for the All Blacks, 7 for the Wallabies, and offloads, 13 for the Wallabies, and 12 for the All Blacks. So at this stage, the Wallabies actually had a few of those stats that were a little bit better, but unfortunately just didn't quite get the chance of being able to finish enough tries in that situation. Marika Koromberi actually in this game had 2 disallowed tries, one very early on in the game where Samu Karevi, what a run from the ruck. He just went as the scrum half, went round the side, pick and go, and was able to make plenty of meters. But Marika Koromberi, unfortunately, they had to go back because of the fact that it was going to be a little an offside originally against one of the Wallabies players. Then the second time he crawled to the line, so he ended up no try there once again as well. And we have got there in the chat, hey, from a depressed Wallaby fan, Look, Kieran's gone again. But, I mean, the Wallabies, I say it every game, they've got potential. They just haven't been able to quite put it together, unfortunately. Like, they've got that situation of Kieran's not staying up at the moment. He is out to it. Tell you what, we'll lean him up against the tripod. Here you go, Kieran. You have a sleep there in the background, mate. Samu fit from sevens. Yeah, he is. And he's looking for those offloads as well, which can open up the opportunities, because Samu Karevi is one of those players. You've got to commit with 1.5 players at least when it does come to him. You've got to almost, once you have those two on him, opens up the opportunity for the man on the outside. So if it's Hunter Paisami when he comes back as well, that will be a dangerous combo in the midfield for the Wallabies. Where we have got there, fizzing to see Caleb Clark play sometime soon as well, says Neville Sling. I believe he is actually going to be playing the sevens again, once again, the Canadian sevens. I think it's Toronto. It's going to be taking place in only about 18 days' time, if I'm not wrong. So he may be still involved with them a little bit. And I never realized how freaking huge Kieran is. Yeah, he's a big boy down the bottom. He's full of air, full of water as well to keep him upright. Even though, as you can see, it doesn't really work because he likes to follow as well. We'll see the next gaming live stream. Also, that game was good to watch, brother, as well, says Kyle. So the next gaming live stream, it's a good question. We have got a Kiwi Lads gaming channel that I will mention because of the fact that we have been posting quite a few live streams over there. We did one the other day on GTA. We've also done a couple on in the past. We're looking at extending the other games. We did a gaming live stream on the main channel as well for the Rugby Challenge, but I'm hoping Monday will be the day. Monday is tomorrow. That's very close. So maybe Monday or Tuesday will be when we do that, but I am going to put the link in the chat. That is the link to the Kiwi Lads gaming channel. If you guys are keen on a bit of gaming, been doing a bit over there. And it is just a small channel at this stage, but we're hoping to slowly build it up as well. Australia are improving. They need to put a whole game together, though, for the entire 80 minutes. Well done, Australia. ABs as well, says Joseph. Yeah, they have their moments, the Wallabies. I enjoy watching them play because they can pull off some very phenomenal moves, like Tate McDermott sniping around the side of the ruck. I said it many times, and then he was able to set up the try for Folau Fainga'a. And they've got the potential. I just want to see them be able to get that solid win that they need to just give them that little bit more confidence. We have got there. I don't know. They beat the British and Irish Lions, and that Six Nations was probably one of the toughest for a long time. They beat the most informed players from 4 nations. Can't see New Zealand wiping the floor with South Africa as well, says Steve Smith. Yeah, I think it's going to be 2 closely contested games between the two sides, and it's just whether or not it goes one way or it goes the other. And we have got Lute has asked the question, how will AB's game change against Los Pumas, Kiwi Lads? I think they've got to keep on going for that kicking game. It seems to be the thing that is kind of differentiating. Why did I try and use such a big word there? It's kind of the difference between how they are playing and some of the other teams are playing at the moment. Like, they're going for those cross kicks, but they're effective. They're actually working for them. The grubbers in behind, they just need to make sure that they can keep on doing it without giving away extra tries. Like we saw when Beauden Barrett chipped it in behind. Yes, the All Blacks only had 12 players playing at that point, but it opened up the counter-attack for the Wallabies. And anyone wondering why I said 12 players, it is because Geordie Barrett was red-carded and also Cody Taylor and Artie Savia were both injured at that time. They went off at exactly the same time, those two. So it was a very unfortunate indeed. I wish I had a Kieran in my room. I swear it would freak out my mum, though, I feel as well, says Sebastian. And also Wallabies robbed as well, says Luke. Not sure whether or not that is the case in this one. A few penalties against them. I will look at the penalty stat once again. It was in the end 12 against the Wallabies, 10 against the All Blacks, but the All Blacks had the yellow card, or sorry, the red card. As well, anyone remember Israel Dago? Indeed, he's still doing the commentary here in New Zealand, I believe. 60% possession for the Wallabies in this matchup. And great call, Cuzzy, as well, says Joseph. And also we have got there in the chat, tell you what, it's going quick at the moment. And I do appreciate every single one of you for being here. Highlanders defeated these Lions as well, says Smith. And also we have got, it'll be interesting seeing a running game from the Wallabies against the champs, says a Rio Gamer, and of course that would be South Africa. My voice is trying to disappear at this stage, and Smithy NZ drew with the Lions last time out, not when South Africa won as well, says Steve Smith in the chat. So it's going to be a little bit of a rivalry perhaps in that game between New Zealand and the Springboks. 25th of September is when we are going to get to see it happen, and it should be very enjoyable indeed. Savas will be worried seeing the AB score tries with these as well, says Sublime. But then that's the thing, South Africa's defense is solid. Like one of the best, if not the best in the world at just making you not be able to get through. And I always talk about this analogy. I quite like talking about it because of the fact I consider South Africa's defense a brick wall. That's my wall. The brick wall there. And the teams such as Argentina and also the British and Irish Lions to an extent, they try and break the wall down. You know, they're smacking into it. And then you find a little bit of a crack in that wall. But by the time, if you don't take advantage of that crack straight away and go straight through it, the Springboks just going to patch it up. And then you're in that situation of once again just going the whole time. That looked like I was clapping sarcastically, but they just don't get through. And that is something that the All Blacks will have to make sure that they can do up against the Springboks as well. We have got their Smithy, yeah. And this was seen tougher British and Irish Lions side than the 2017 one. And South Africa still beat them with 0 game time since the World Cup as well. Says Steve Smith, and also in the I Love You vid. Says Kate, thank you very much. Do appreciate all the support you guys have been showing, not just on this live stream, but on our main live stream as well. It's hugely appreciated. And if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is hugely appreciated. I've said hugely appreciated many times on this one. Do you like NRL? I do enjoy watching it. I just haven't really had as much time to watch it as I would like to, because a lot of these games that have been happening have either been in the middle of the night, so I end up kind of sleeping in the early hours of the nighttime, and also in the middle of the day, and then also, unfortunately, overlapping with the rugby union that we have got. Rieko Ioane versus Colby, or Jordan versus Colby, is going to be an interesting watch as well. Yeah. Tell you what, I think they've got to go with Rieko Ioane out on that left wing up against Cheslin and Colby, because George Bridge, he's a good player, but I feel like Rieko Ioane's pace and also his tackling's come a long way. Rieko Ioane in the last little while did very well there in this game. So I feel like he would be the better one to match up against Cheslin and Colby. But we will quickly look at this. 157 tackles made by the All Blacks, 25 missed tackles in the match, and 89 made by the Wallabies, 19 missed tackles in that one as well. The All Blacks missing probably a few too many. Then probably their standard, because they absolutely love to be able to get a lot more. Who won as well? Statistical. It was in the end 38 points to the All Blacks, 21 to the Wallabies, and they do receive the bonus point, the All Blacks. So they are now sitting just above South Africa on the table with 10 points, and then South Africa sitting on 9, 0 and 0 for Australia and Argentina as well. Loving the rugby as well, says David Dowd. I am as well, mate. There is plenty of it on at the moment. I'm just looking through some of these stats, and there were plenty of running meters for these guys out on the field. For Tom Banks, he actually had the most running meters out of any player out on the field, 110 meters carried for 12 carries, 2 defenders beat him, 1 try as well from him. Very solid. And then number 15, then Samu Karevi and Marika Korombedi, both having 86 and 90, 21 carries for Samu Karevi, just hitting the ball up, 4 defenders beaten. But I think the big thing there was he had a game plan and he stuck to it throughout the whole game. His plan was pretty much get the ball, run it straight, and keep on trying to gain a little bit more of the meters for the Wallabies. And then Marika Korombedi, 11 carries for his 90 meters, 1 defender beaten, 90 meters for Tate McDermott as well. 7 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks. He's probably got to be up there as well for a nominee for man of the match for the Wallabies side. But yeah, very nicely done from him as well. And then looking at the All Blacks, David Avili having 88 meters carried, 6 carries from that. So that's very impressive. 2 tries scored, 1 defender beaten, 1 clean break. 90 meters for Rieko Ioane, 8 carries, 4 defenders beaten, 1 clean break. Also 82 meters for his brother Akira, 9 defenders beaten, 3 clean breaks. Set up a couple of tries as well. And Seth, thanks very much for coming. But we have also got there in the chat. It was sad as well. Says for me, and also Cheslin versus Sevu would be a good one. That would actually, yeah, that'd be a good match as well, or a good matchup, I should say. A Wallabies fan as well, says me. Unfortunately, yeah, the Wallabies, they've been doing well, but then there's just those little moments that go wrong for them that can cost them a lot of points. We have seen it. I mean, the All Blacks were down to only having a total of 14 men out on the field for 20 minutes, but the All Blacks were the side that got more points in that 20 minutes. It was actually straight after the All Blacks went back to 15 that the try was scored by the Wallabies, the first one for Falau Fainga'a. What a try it was. McDermott, the sniper, as I have called him, was able to go straight around the side. Yeah, Conor Brady was legit running at him in the air as well, says Rio Goma. That is for the red card, of course. And we have got versus intercept skills as well, says Aluta. And also we have got there, imagine if the Aussies beat the Box. Tell you what, the Wallabies, I think they need to win one of those 2 games against South Africa to really have people behind them for those games up against Argentina. They're going to need the support, because last year 2 draws in that situation. Is England, or is Australia playing England this year? Says Luca. It's a good question. I will quickly have a look at me fixtures list and see whether or not it is there for you. But I know they are playing Scotland, and also Wales is another one that they are going to be doing. We always got there in the chat. I can see that happening as well, says Rio Game. Can't wait to hear Dave Rennie and Hooper's post-match reaction after talking smack as well, says Sublime. It's always tough doing a post-match like kind of thing, because even, yeah, you don't want to be in that situation because of the fact that yeah, it just sucks for you pretty much, because you've got to say pretty much anything that you said earlier in the week was wrong, which just, yeah, it's not fun. But I am just looking, Australia do play England and it's only 69 days' time. The 14th of November, we're going to get to see Australia versus England, 6:30 a.m. New Zealand time. That's going to be a rough one to get up for. But of course, on this channel, we do all the games in the middle of the night as well. And we have got there in the chat as well. When you're in mid-air, every direction is out. As well, says Katie Dixon, if the Wallabies beat the Boks, I will cry in happiness. See, that's the thing. They're heavily the underdogs in that match, the Wallabies. But if they can somehow get themselves into a position of being able to beat the Springboks once, not only will it help New Zealand in terms of being able to maybe secure the Rugby Championship, but it will give them a lot of confidence. And that is what we want to see for the Wallabies, as they are a good side. They just have been a little bit unlucky with some of the results that they've had recently. Michael Hooper, this man was the only guy for the Wallabies who actually had double figures for his tackles. 14 made, 2 missed tackles, but 14 is very impressive. Even if you count those missed tackles, taking them away from what he had, he still got 12, which is 3 more than anyone else has on the field for the Wallabies. And then also tackling Kiriwani, whereas he had 9 tackles in this match, 12 for David Havili with a turnover 1, 11 for Brodie Retallick, 13 for Scott Barrett, did nicely as well. And then a lot of tackles being made by the All Blacks. We have got there. New Zealand need a better kicker, said Steve Smith. Yeah, unfortunately, didn't go well with Beauden Barrett. Also, didn't go well with Damian McKenzie. I believe he missed 2 from 2, Damian McKenzie. And one of them was straight out in front for Beauden Barrett, which was weird because Noah Lolesio also missed one straight out in front in the half prior. So I'm not sure what was going on there, but Mo'unga, would you say Mo'unga is your best option, Steve, in terms of who we would go with for New Zealand's kicker? Do let me know. And we have also got their counter-attacking skills. Chislin Colby equals lightning and a special as well, says A. Luta. Yeah, Chislin Colby is a definite threat for any team he plays up against, and Hooper is an impressive specimen, always turns up to a game as well, says Rio Gamer, and he's the perfect guy to have as the captain for the Wallabies, because you know he's going to give 110% every time he goes out on the field. He's always topping the numbers for the tackles, always getting turnovers won, having runs with the ball as well in this match. How many meters did he carry? He was off the field for a little while. He had 11 meters carried from 3 carries, so not as much as I expected for him, but he still had a few passes as well. I love you so much as well, says HR. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated you being in the chat. I'm Sean as well, says Doggo Gamers. Welcome in, Sean, once again. We have got there. People will talk about what a great player he is, and then say he has fetal alcohol syndrome because of his eyes. Poor guy, can't catch a break as well, says Katie Dixon. Is that for Chisel and Colby? Katie Dixon. We also got there. Box for live. Oh, no, sorry. That's Michael Hooper, isn't it? Unfortunately. Although apparently if your eyes are closer together, you have better hand-eye coordination. It's something that I heard an Australian cricket commentator say because they were watching Marnus Labuschagne, who has the same kind of setup. We have got H. Wells as well in the chat from Sydney, and also we have got there as well in the chat, watch Will Jordan chase down Colby as well. Yeah, tell you what, when Tom Banks was having a huge break, and it was Rico Ioane and also Will Jordan, they both just bolted at him and were able to catch him there. Haven't lost in 2 years ball possession. Doesn't translate to production as well a little bit earlier on in chat. Look at Hooper. Looks busy whole day, but there's no production as well, says Morse. And yeah, unfortunately, with the fact that Michael Hooper, out of all of the forwards, he always seems to be the busiest, it's just not ideal for them. Like, they've got Swinton, they've got Rob Valentini, but those men in this game just didn't quite make the meters that I think I expected them to be able to do so. Valentini, 22 meters, though, not too bad, but that was from 8 carries. And it just takes one of those big breaks to be able to open it up. I wasn't expecting Damian McKenzie, or was half expecting Damian McKenzie's boot to fly off as he's kicking for goal and smack one of New Zealand players in the face. As I said, Steve Smith, there were plenty of players getting hit in the face with boots in this one. That is for sure. Asked Marika Cotton-Betty and also Michael Hooper was another one who ended up there. We have got New Zealand still playing. South Africa, says Awoken Games. We are indeed. It's going to be a good match. I will put it up on the screen so you know exactly when it is going to be taking place. If you are in South Africa, it is going to be a 9:05 a.m. kickoff on the 25th of September on the Saturday. South Africa taking on New Zealand for the 100th match between the two sides. Before that, though, they can't look past Argentina, New Zealand. We're going to have to make sure that they play well in that game. But then they've got to play South Africa again the week after, 2nd of October. Going to be another exciting contest and could be deciding who wins the Rugby Championship. That game, if that is the case, will have like a World Cup final feel to it with the amount of support that you guys will be showing on that one. Then for Australia, they've got 2 hard games up against the Springboks. Then after that, it is going to be Australia versus Argentina and Australia versus Argentina once again to close out their Rugby Championship campaign. And then everyone is heading north for those games up against the likes of Wales, England for Australia. And also the other teams that I can't think of. All Blacks are also going to I can't speak anymore. New Zealand are going to be playing the USA as well as another one. Australia will beat South Africa as well, says the mighty All Blacks. And at this stage, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not they will be able to do so. I hope they have a good game up against South Africa. I really do. I hope it is closely contested and it is going to be tough and grindy, and it's just going to be an all-out war between those two sides. And it's going to set up beautifully for the game that is going to be coming a little bit a little bit later, I should say. Ireland, Scotland, and France too, bro. As well as this Thick Boy in the chat. And there's so much international rugby coming up that my brain's going to be spinning because we're going to be doing live streams at 6 a.m. All sorts of times are going to be taking place. We were thinking about doing the top 14 for the game between La Rochelle and Toulouse a little bit later on tonight. Is that something you guys will be keen to see? It starts at 6:45 a.m. New Zealand time. So I'm not sure how many people will be awake during that game. Mapimpi and also Luki creative. I can't speak anymore. I don't know what's happened. All of a sudden, my brain's gone boom. But we have got the creative support for Gislin as well. Yeah, that combo of also Dialende and Lukanuam in the midfield, I absolutely love watching because of the fact that they're just going to hit it up. And they are deceptively strong, those two guys. They will hit the ball at the line hard, and then they'll find that little flick out the back that opens up the wingers as well. I'm keen 8 p.m. Wales time, as well as this Thick Boy, so maybe will be worth the crack to have a look at it. And also we have got the ABs and boring will never be uttered by any medias as well, says Sublime. And yeah, everyone seems to love the style of play that the All Blacks bring, and it's going to be the style of play up against the Springboks, who are a very good side when it comes to that defense. They just will grind you out with the forwards, and that's why that match is so intriguing. And we only have to wait a few more weeks to see it. 20 days till that one is happening. Yes, all the streams, as long as it's not stressing you out to stay awake for them as well, says Katie. No, I think I will end up going to sleep beforehand and then waking up at around 6:30, maybe, or maybe 6 o'clock or so. And I will be ready to go for that next live stream. We have got Havili was my man of the match, just ahead of Akira, as well, says TV Guts. And I guess that is a decent point. Him and Havili both playing phenomenally. He had, in the end, Havili about 90 meters carried, even though he only had, here it is, 88 meters carried, 2 tries in 6 carries, 1 defender beat and 1 clean break. He's just playing very well in that number 12 jersey. He's really cementing himself as the number 12 at the moment, Havili, with the form that he has found. And I'm very happy for him because, of course, he was a fullback for the Crusaders and then decided we've got that much depth at fullback. I'm going to transition to a 12. And from there, he's just been great in that number 12 jersey. We have got there in the chat as well. Wait, when are we playing? Argentina says, I will have a quick look. Wait, is that for South Africa or for New Zealand? I assume if it's New Zealand, we are going to be playing them next week on Sunday, 7:05 p.m. kickoff here in New Zealand on Sky Sport 1, as you can see here in New Zealand, but it is on Stan, it is on DSTV, also Super Sport 9, maybe on 9 for the Wallabies game. But yeah, 2 games up against Argentina, 2 games up against South Africa. Going to be good, going to be exciting, going to be a very good few weeks of rugby ahead of us. Box slow the game down and play very technical. It's a different ball game as well, says Ryan. That's a perfect point. The All Blacks in this game, they were going all-out pace in the early stages, whereas the Box, they are going to be able to kind of play their game. The kicking game of Reinach at number 9, unless it's Faf de Klerk. I don't believe Faf de Klerk has come on the plane to to Australia, though. So Kobus Reinach, he's just going to be looking for that box kick, lining up Mapimpi, lining up Chisel and Colby, Willie LaRue in the fullback jersey. Also, maybe a few of those subs, Malcolm Marks, Rolling Maul. Oh, I'm getting excited for that game now because there are so many outcomes that we could have. And we have got there. Akira was man of the match, carved up the Wallabies as well, says Sublime. And also we have got there, it's illegal not to call them the world champions when they win the World Cup. I always love rowing it into everyone as well, says Billy Thorne. And also we've got there, I've had a bad day today. Thanks, mate, for the live stream. Hopefully it does get better for you, Luke, mate. Hopefully you have enjoyed, although I was about to say hopefully you have enjoyed the rugby, but then I just realised what you mentioned a little bit earlier on. Hopefully, nonetheless, you did enjoy watching a bit of rugby today. And also, yesterday we did have a game for the Curry Cup. I'm not sure whether or not you follow that, though, but hopefully you'd have a good day tomorrow, mate, and see how it goes and be ready for next week when you get to see the Springboks taking on the Wallabies. We have got there Hamish where next week game being played. I will quickly get that up for you, mate, so that we know exactly where it is. I know that both games are taking place in Queensland. The first game between New Zealand and Argentina, it is going to be kicked off at Seabus Super Stadium, capacity of around 30,000 or so, I believe. And then the next game, South Africa versus Australia, also going to be at Seabus Super Stadium. So both games from the same location with the NRL finals as well does make it a little bit tougher for them to be able to find the locations, which is why this round next week going to be at Seabus. The round after that is, I believe, going to be played at Suncorp, if I'm not wrong. Is it at Suncorp Stadium? Then the round after that is going to be, I'm going to have a guess, Townsville. I think something along those lines. It is going to be Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Got that one a little bit wrong, sadly. And then the last round is going to be played at Seabus Super Stadium. And there is no round 7, like they say, but we have got there not been a good day as well. Yeah, my NRL team got kicked out, and the Wallabies as well, says Luke. Was your team the Warriors? Because they did not have a good game by the sounds of it, unfortunately, in the game. 4 weeks of double headers, how good as well. It's awesome. And we've also got the top 14 has kicked off. We get to see some Kiwis and Aussies and South Africans taking part in that competition. Then also, we have got the Gallagher Premiership starting up extremely soon. United Rugby Championship coming. Bunnings NPC, the New Zealand provincial competition is going to be getting back underway. Other international fixtures like the USA-Canada World Cup game that unfortunately they didn't show in New Zealand, which I was a bit sad about because I was going to be doing a commentary for that one as well. And what are your thoughts on the red cards there, Senza? It's a hard one because of the fact that at this stage, the red card, I thought when I first saw it, it was going to be at least a yellow. Although I think at the time on the live stream, I actually said this is going to be a red card. And not because of the factor of it wasn't cynical at all. Jordie Barrett just kind of went up for the ball and ended up extending his leg because he just ended up losing that balance a little bit too much. But you're not allowed to extend your leg and you're not allowed to make contact with a player's head. If it hit him in the chest, I believe it would have just been a yellow, if I'm not wrong. But because it was a situation of unfortunately striking him in the face, it did mean that it became a red card in Jordie Barrett. I have to say, though, I am glad that because of the new rules, it meant that they were able to replace him. And, of course, I guess that's a 50-50 one, but if it was the way of the Wallabies getting a red card as well, I'm sure they would have wanted the exact same thing of only having 20 minutes of the player off. We will avenge Jordie Barrett as well, says Katie Dixon. And also we have got, was the Sharks. The Warriors weren't meant to save us. We were meant to save us, but the opposite happened. So I can only apologise for that, Luke. In that situation, the Warriors, not the best at times, unfortunately for them. Rassie took on World Rugby for more transparency. That change would change AB's domination. Terrible calls throughout history. Box for life as well, says A. Luter. Certainly going to be an awesome matchup. 25th of September. Put it on the calendar. Set a reminder because we are going to be covering it on this channel. And yeah, it's going to be a very exciting contest. 2 weeks in a row. The double headers are what's getting me the most excited because we're going to get to see these sides play each other, likes of the Wallabies, South Africa. They're going to play off, and then we're going to get to see it again the next week. So we get to see how much they have learned from the first game up against each other and how they adapt into the second. Same with New Zealand versus Argentina. Argentina's always the dark horse. They beat us last year for the Tri-Nations after all, but they're just one of those sides. They've got the passion and the heart that can just win them games. We saw it for the sevens. It's a different format, of course, but the rugby sevens, Argentina, they got a red card early on in the game up against South Africa, and they were down to 6 men, but they just kept going. They kept fighting, and it's just an awesome situation of they've just got that heart that you can't buy and you can't kind of teach. You've either got it or you don't, and the Pumas do have it, so hopefully they have a good game. And I also know about one sentence of Spanish, so I'm sure we'll be whipping that out. I believe it is Buen de Nuevo, El Canal de Kiwi Lads. I don't think that was quite right, but it's supposed to be, hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Kiwi Lads. Or I am the Kiwi Lads, but I have to work on it. Maybe I don't know a sentence of Spanish. It's unfortunate, but the games between the Springboks and Argentina have already happened, Luke. The first one being a few weeks ago was 32 points to South Africa, 12 to Argentina, so they were able to get the bonus point win, which then set them on 5 points just behind the All Blacks after round one. Then looking at round two, it was South Africa 29 points to the 10 of Argentina, but they did not receive the bonus point. So that is the big factor in that one. And now looking at the competition at the moment, the All Blacks, after this one, will leapfrog South Africa, going up onto 10 points. 52 points is the points differential for the All Blacks. And they are going into the game next week up against Argentina, who are currently sitting in third because Australia will drop below them there. As well, we also got Bienvenido, LOL, says Katie Dixon. And also we have got there in the chat, Springboks never lose, ref wins or they win as well, says that Smoothie Toilet. And we have also got there in the chat, it seems like South Africa have pacified the dramas in the upper, echelons. I don't think I've pronounced that correctly, which held South Africa rugby back for over half a decade as well. Says it is Kiri Sayano. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. Kiri Sayano. Somewhere close, hopefully. If I'm not wrong, hopefully. I did get that relatively close, but at this stage, yeah, it is good to see South Africa playing some good, hard-hitting, fast-paced rugby, and that they are going to get a few more games going as well in the near future, which is absolutely awesome. And we have got there, yeah, you did it as well, says Katie Dixon. And also we have got there Springboks coach Jacques Naiba. No, that's not how you say it. I can't think of how it's pronounced, unfortunately. Said they were excited to measure themselves against the best in the Southern Hemisphere as well. Says, hey, Luda, yeah, that game, I've mentioned it a few times, it's going to have a World Cup feel to it. And it's just going to be, all the eyes are going to be on that game between the Springboks and the All Blacks. Not just because it's a massive game for both sides, but it's also the 100th game. So it's got even that little bit more on the line for them. And the Rugby Championship could be on the line in that match as well, which is absolutely awesome. And we're going to get to see it in full effect on the 25th of September. But anyone who is just tuning in now, 3 tries for the Wallabies for Lau Whainga, Nick White, and also it was Tom Banks who was able to score it to get the 21 points for the Wallabies in this one. Then Geordie Barrett, David Avili was able to get 2, Will Jordan, Anton Leonard-Brown, and then the final try of the match going for George Bridge to give the All Blacks 38 points. And also the bonus point, the kicking for both sides for the goal kicking just wasn't quite working out. Noel Alessio missing one straight out in front. In the same spot, Beauden Barrett missed a kick in the next half. But at the end of the day, we have had an interesting game of rugby. Red card for Geordie Barrett and also 2 injuries. The captain, Artie Savia, and Cody Taylor. So we'll have to wait and see what that does mean for the All Blacks going into future weeks. But nonetheless, I think we are almost at the end of this live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you do want to check out a little bit of gaming, if you're into your gaming, we do a few live streams over on this channel that I am putting in the chat right now, the Kiwi Lads gaming channel, that is. We have got there, what is the win rate or win-loss rate between South Africa and New Zealand? Anyway, must be fairly even. Tell you what, you have asked me a very good question there, Steve. I am going to get it up for you right now. So All Blacks versus Springboks. There's been a few draws in stats. There we go. What do we got for us? We've got here history of rugby matches between New Zealand as well. We go here. Rivalry and numbers. Okay, here we go. It's a little bit old. It's 97 games between the two sides I do see here. So it's 58 matches won by New Zealand, 36 won by South Africa. And that must leave quite a few draws on the table as well. So we have got there 97 times that they have met, it says in that regard. But for those matches, it was Morné Steyn has actually scored the most points against the All Blacks. Perhaps they'll get another crack in the line coming up. But I believe, come on, where is it? I'm looking for the stat. I had it just here. 58 matches won by the All Blacks, 36 won by South Africa, and 3 matches as a draw as well, with the biggest win for the All Blacks being in 2017 with that 57-0 victory as well. And the most points is the Beauden Barrett, the most current points for the All Blacks with 94 as well there. So it's an interesting one. They've had a little bit more in favour of the All Blacks, but the Springboks now, they're in form. It's going to be a good game. You're the boys as well, says Johnny Blaze. Welcome in to the live stream, mate. Fairly close as well, says Steve Smith. Yeah. And I feel like that's going to be the same as the results for the actual matches. It's going to be fairly close. Probably only like less than 10 points difference, I think, between the two sides. And it's just going to be who is going to be able to get over the line. We have got Box have won 16 out of 64 in the professional era, says Sublime. So that would leave, how many draws have we had in that regard? Do let me know, because I have got 3 in total after 97 tests, because of course it will be a little bit more now because this was made in 2019. So they must have, they would have had the World Cup game after that, and then also another game, I believe, of the Rugby Championship, if I'm not wrong. I know we have Oscar there in the chat as well. We have got there, I know the past 20 games New Zealand won 17, drew 1 and lost 2, so they're pretty solid up against the Box. But the Box are the Box. The Box are the Box, and they are a good side. They are number 1 ranked in the world. I'm wondering whether or not Australia are going to drop down into the 7th world ranking position once again, because this was a home game for them. So it's kind of, you get that little bit of a disadvantage if you're at home. If you do lose the game in the world rankings, Argentina might go back up to 6th as well. And then next week's games and the week after are really going to show who is going to be cementing that number 6 spot. Dwayne Vermeulen back for the first time since the Rugby World Cup final in 2019 after making a full recovery from surgery on his ankle. Ooh la la as well, says Luta. I saw him a little bit in the Rainbow Cup for the Bulls, and he just ended up, it was quite sad to watch in a way, because you know he's going to give it 110%, Dwayne Vermeulen. And anytime there was a quick tap, in a couple of the games, he pretty much hobbled up to the mark, took the tap, and just ran straight at the line. And you felt bad for him because you knew he was going to keep on going until pretty much the ankle just stopped. And he pretty much just collapsed on the field at that stage, Dwayne Vermeulen. So hopefully he will be fully recovered and he will be ready to go for the Springboks broken players, where All Blacks will score their points against the Springboks. Says Lax Axel, yeah, interceptions will be huge for them. We've seen in this series 5 times the All Blacks have been able to score off pass interceptions from the Wallabies, but the Springboks, they'll do a lot flatter passes. They would have seen what the Wallabies did throughout this game. By the end of the next tie, we're 60% at best, 59% at worst, says Kirisiano. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that so close as well. Yeah, let's go there. I don't think the Wallabies are ready, says Archie. It's going to be tough for them unless they can find, like we keep on mentioning, it's kind of become a broken record. They need to find an 80-minute performance to be able to beat the Springboks. It's tough. It's tough. They've had 2 40-minute performances and also almost 3 40-minute performances in these Tri-Nations, or not Tri-Nations, Bledisloe Cup games. They just need to find that full one that gets them the win. And it's going to be tough up against the Boks, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We have got there from the time I've watched rugby. ABs will win the 100th game. I will put my house on it, says Smithy Toilet. Geez, that is a big bet. Indeed, I know that people want me to put this part of me face on it, not literally my chin. You're not taking my chin off, but the hair on the chin, as the big bad wolf would say when he's trying to blow down the 3 little pigs' houses. But were they 3 little pigs? I think they were 3 little pigs. I played that game at kindergarten on the old PC. It was one of those ones that you had to make your house, and then the big bad wolf would come along, just blow it over and ruin all your dreams, and you just cry in the corner. But we have got Lolesio will play better against the Springboks. Debut against the All Blacks haunts him as well, says Lax Axel. Yeah, that's the thing. He had his debut last year for the first Bledisloe Cup Test match, and it was a very close one indeed. It was a draw in the end. For that match, I believe, was the one that he debuted in. Also, Tupavai, Caleb Clark, and Hoskins Atutu all had their debut in that exact same match. Oops, I just slammed onto my keyboard and something went wrong, but we are still here, luckily. But yeah, it's interesting. Only Tupavai is in the current squad. And oh no, Hoskins Atutu, but he's only played the one game Hoskins Atutu. Tupavai, first game of him for the All Blacks, Gene de Villiers, was a king of the interception, bloody beast as well, says that Smithy Toilet. And also we have got there in the chat, look, Australia needs to be playing against USA, Italy, and Canada. They shouldn't deserve to play the Springboks. They too weak as well, says Angelo. Those are fighting words. And hopefully, hopefully they don't end up beating the Springboks in that game if that is the case. But they just need to find that 80-minute performance. Lolesio has to start next game as well, says TV. I'm wondering whether or not they'll try going with Reece Hodge at 10, maybe as an option. Please, Wallabies, please come to the USA and play us as well, says Katie Dixon. Rassi is in South Africa as well, says Amori. Yeah, they did leave him behind for this tour. I did see professional era coincided with freedom and bad management across South Africa sports. Squatters and hatred towards South Africa or Springboks in South Africa hurt us. We are finally getting a house in order as well, says Alut. And also is an Aussie reffing the South Africa and Australian game. Rassi will make another video crying if it is, and if they lose. I think they have actually announced the referees. Where did I see the referees that be announced? I know that they announced them somewhere. Where was that? They actually, they announced the referees for who it was going to be. I'm just going to have a quick look to see whether or not I can find it. We're on the 2nd of September. When would the referees have been announced? It was probably a little bit earlier on. But I know Nick Berry is about for one of the games. I think he is reffing our Argentina versus New Zealand's second game, if I'm not wrong there. And we have got there. I'm looking forward to Etzebeth versus Akira Scrap as well, says Lax Axel. Yeah, that's going to be a good battle. Etzebeth and Akira. But then even Etzebeth and Brodie Retallick, there's a little bit of history there between those two sides, or those two men, I should say. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I say interesting many, many times, but I'm excited for it to happen as well. I can't find who the referees are, which is kind of annoying because I thought I was going to be able to find them. Tell you what, it might tell me here, facts in the lineup. Does it have it? No. Facts, player timeline, player stats. No, doesn't have it there. Commentary. No. Okay. So they're not going to tell me who the referees are in this one, unfortunately, but I did see a list somewhere, and I can't remember where exactly it was that I saw that list, but I saw Nick Berry was one. Also, I believe there is a French referee involved, and also Ben O'Keefe may be going to Oz. I'm not too sure. He's actually maybe in New Zealand at the moment from coming back from South Africa. Etzebeth has dealt to Akira in a Blues versus Stormers game a few years back as well, says Johnny Blaze. And also we have got there in the Jordan as Kiris, and pronounced Chris as well. Oh, I can pronounce Chris. Chris is nice for me. My name is Tuki Lauan. I am a lad of Tokilawan and Nguyen descent as well. So I'll call you Chris, if that is all right. All Blacks backline, 9 out of 10. South Africa, 7 out of 10. South Africa forwards, 9 out of 10. ABs, 7 out of 10. Close game as well, says A. Ludo. I think it could be. And it all comes down to how hard the All Blacks, or sorry, not how hard, but how technically gifted the All Blacks can be in that game in the backline, and how hard and straight the South African forwards are just going to keep on pressing at the ball. Bring Nigel Owens out of retirement for the 100th. I see that he is still on the World Rugby website. They have a little segment that they do with him talking about refereeing and all sorts. Anton Leonard-Brown defense is outstanding as well. It is indeed. He's very good at the low tackle. Him and Papali is another player that I enjoy watching for his tackling technique. He goes low around the ankles and he just ties up the legs. And then from there, someone else can go in and get the turnover, or himself. He got one in this match alongside Havili as well. A few punches may be thrown as well in the chat from IMNTG. But nonetheless, I think we are almost at the end of this live stream. We've been going for 45 minutes, which was a lot longer than I originally anticipated, but I've just kept on talking fairly. But if you guys have anything else you don't want to put in the chat before we end this live stream, do let me know. South Africa versus ABs is going to be hard. Thinking about it, that is not what I expected to see in the chat when I mentioned about the last spot. A few things we have got. ABs backline would have more influence than the South Africa forwards. If they're playing their best, ABs will crack through as well, says Smithy Toilet. And the best thing, 20 days is all we've got to wait to see it. Thank you for all the streams, Hamish, as well as these Katie Dixon. So nonetheless, I believe we are going to be doing a live stream this morning. Tomorrow morning, I guess you could say 6:45 a.m. New Zealand time, as we know it's going to be starting La Rochelle taking on Toulouse. I might decide that I will go for that one and see how we go. If I don't end up waking up, it will be probably because I've accidentally slept through my alarm. So I do apologize in advance if that is the case. AB's forwards runs like a backline as well, says Amori. Yeah, the loose forwards, Savio, I'm hoping is 100% ready for that game in terms of his fitness and his health, because of the fact he went off for this game. Also, Akira Ioane, he is finding some form at the moment. He's in that number 6 jersey and no one is taking it off him. Even Blackadder coming off the bench, setting up a nice try for, in the end, David Havili off the rolling ball. But I think he has secured himself that number 6 jersey for a long time, unless they try and mix it up too much. So we'll have to see whether or not it will be the case. And we have got there, and there, got to do my best to catch the next GTA live stream as well. That is going to be on the Kiwi Lads Gaming channel, which is now just going in the chat at the moment. That link will take you to the gaming channel. If you do want to watch us do live streams, just talking about the games, talking about everything that has taken place, and anyone else in the chat as well, I'm going to help you guys out a little bit here, because of the fact some of you guys may not have been able to see the game yet. And I want to make sure that everyone who is here does get a chance to be able to watch some good rugby between these two sides. So what we are going to do, we're going to go like this. 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 There we go. And now, boom, no, I pressed the wrong button. There we go. That second link will take you straight to the highlights of this game on the All Blacks YouTube channel. If you are keen to check it out, Pollard versus Barrett, and the kicking pens and conversions should be the difference. Kiwi scores, kicks not so good as well, says A. Ludo. That is a good point. Unfortunately, Bowden Barrett didn't quite find the kicking kind of rhythm in this game, I guess you could say. But hopefully he can in the future, unless they give it to Moonga once again once he comes back, because I believe he is eligible to join the squad again for that game up against the Springboks, the first one, and maybe the second up against Argentina as well. All rugby fans around the world are anticipating the South Africa versus New Zealand game. It will be epic, says David. It will indeed. And it's one of those ones everyone is talking about it. It's talked about as if it is the case of being almost a World Cup final or something along that kind of caliber, because there's a huge amount on the line. Both sides playing for the pride of their countries, but also you know that they're going to give it 110%, and it's going to be a good game. As well, Makura's the GOAT as well, says Sublime. And also we have got there in the chat, thank you, Hamish, says Katie Dixon, looking dapper too, Hamish as well, says David. Thank you very much, mate. And because it is Father's Day, I have got my father's, I've got his club rugby tie. I'm not sure whether or not I'll be able to get close enough to the camera with this one, but pretty much, if it wants to focus there, there's the little Waimate rugby logo. It's got about 50 of them on the tie, and it is the tie that he used to wear while he was playing a bit of club rugby. So I decided, why not for Father's Day, put it on and have it on here as well. Akira is made for Test rugby. I feel sorry for him. His time to shine should have been in 2018. Yeah, I felt real bad for him when he was playing the game, and Tuanga Fassi got sent off the field with the red card, and he was the player who had to go off the field, even though, because they had to make a replacement, of course, in the front row. But it was so sad that he didn't get to get out there and play along for that game because he was going very well. Bowden won't even be starting as well. Oh, it's beautiful as well. Says Katie Dixon, and also Bowden Barrett's kicking is horrific. Jesus, man. It's like me being a bowler struggling to swing a hammer. I mean, Bowden Barrett is a professional, isn't he? Tell you what, the way he struck a couple of them from straight out in front, I feel like a lot of people in the crowd would have been backing themselves to go out there and get them over. He could have given it to bloody old, what's his face? Kira Ioane probably would have nailed it. Well, Will Jordan's actually very good at kicking as well, I believe. If I'm not wrong, Hamish, you're a good lad. Honouring your father like that, legend mate as well, says Johnny Blaze. And Bowden won't be starting as well, says Smithy Toilet. And at this stage, I see gameplay mentioned in the chat, and I'm hoping to do a Rugby Challenge 4 gameplay of the final between the game between South Africa and the All Blacks. Kind of similar to what we did for the game yesterday that we did it on. But I'm excited to see how that goes because I want to have George as one side and then have me as the other and see how it goes. He kicks instead of running as well. Says like Saxon. Hopefully Richie Mwonga has his baby Doody Dada and then go over to Aussie and kicks him as well. Says Johnny Blaze. And are you in level 4 lockdown like me? As well, says Sublime. Unfortunately, for Auckland, they are going to be in lockdown for another 2 weeks. I'm just outside I'm in the South Island, so that's a little bit further than just outside. So we are in level 3 at the moment. So I won't be able to have George, who normally comes with me for some of these commentary ones and videos in person. He won't be around for probably another few weeks at least, sadly. So because of that, does mean we are a little bit not as busy with the videos, but more the live streams. The live streams are where we have been going, which is why that link a little bit earlier on takes you to the gaming channel as well. The scrums was horrendous as well, says Lex Axel. And also we have got Wallabies rubbish. No point watching Bledisloe Rugby with the state of Australian rugby as well, says George. It's just it's their 80-minute performance. They just need to find a way of putting it together so that they can have a little bit more success because they've had, first game, they had a great last 20 minutes or last kind of 40 minutes, I guess you could say almost. They were building into it. Second game, great first half. Third game, they had their moments in the second half. They actually scored more points in the second half than the All Blacks. It was 18-0 at halftime. Then the All Blacks able to power through and get that bonus point. I just want to see them play well, the Wallabies. They're a side that I have a soft spot for because of the fact that they've done very well because of the they're just a good side. I love watching Super Rugby AU, seeing all those players develop, and I want to see them do well in this competition as well. So hopefully it can be the case very soon. We have also got the ABs that are about 3 to 4 times all-time fly halves that are better than Springboks greatest, as well as Smith and Bodie at 15 killed his mojo as well. Says Lex Axel. I assume, was that when there was a red card, did they decide to slot him back to 15? Or is that, oh no, that will be just in general, I believe, because the last time these two sides played at Perth, he was actually playing 15. Fun fact, Bowden Barrett got run over by Samu Karevi, who was in a bit of a hurry to get to that try line dealing day against Havili and against Anton Leonard-Brown as well as Cesar Mori. I think that is the midfield combo that they will have to go with the All Blacks. If they do want to have a chance, dealing they can only crash ball. Anton Leonard-Brown's useless. Don't like him. Arms are beast as well, says Smithy Toy, and Sonny Bill Williams says Angus Jobra, as well as says Lex Axel and Butzer won. Your boys didn't make it to the finals. I was there, bought Kiwi tickets to Stade Francais final, as well as says Aluta and Dominate for a decade, the first block before trying to compare to the ABs as well, says Johnny Blaze. And also we have got maybe thank England for the Rugby World Cup final in the Lions tour as well, says Smithy Toilet. We're going back to that World Cup. It's going to be mentioned, I believe, if I'm not wrong, there is a small chance that England could play New Zealand in the semi-final of the next Rugby World Cup, and it could be a quarter-final between New Zealand and the Springboks, which is going to be an interesting one indeed. We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, luckily eats a bowl of Weet-Bix as well from Katie Dixon. I have my Weet-Bix card somewhere, but I can't find them. I had the likes of Richie Mo'unga and all sorts. I've actually got, those Weet-Bix packs. They have got legends in them as well. And I ended up packing 3 Jonah Lomus in 2 boxes of Weet-Bix. So I'm wondering whether or not I should do some sort of little giveaway type thing and have it that you guys have to, I don't know what the competition could be, but you could go in the draw to win a little Jonah Lomu Weet-Bix card, perhaps. Could be on the cards. And we have got there, we have been saying that the Wallabies are going to win the Bledisloe for 20 years. Doesn't this prove that Australian rugby can't be repaired, says George Polo. It's a tough one. I'm hoping they can get themselves back in the right direction over the next coming years and really contest at the World Cup, because they've got Wales, they've got Fiji. Also, they will have, who's the other teams in that group? I think they're going to have maybe, I can't think of the other teams that are going to be in that group, but they've got the same as pretty much what they had for 2019, but hopefully they will be able to make it through to the quarterfinals. We have got Springboks equals history making ABs for the Rugby Championship as well, says Aluta, and also we have got there. I'm going to stay this right now. I repeat, I need a Dan Carter Weet-Bix card. As well, says Katie Dixon. I might have one. I think we've got an old Crusaders Dan Carter Weet-Bix card, perhaps, in a box out in the garage somewhere, if I'm not wrong. We have got their funny how South Africans like to say rank number one, yet never ever have I seen AB say anything like that during their time at the top. They love pulling at the strings here. So I said, Johnny Blades, this is going into the rivalry big time. It's going to be Springboks, All Blacks. I will mention it once again, 25th of September. Before this one gets, I will pay for it as well, says Katie Dixon. I'll have a look and see if I can find it for you. We have got there now, you boys. Just tell us how you have dominated rankings for a decade as well, says A. Luta. Yeah, right. And on that note, with the rivalry kicking into full gear, we are going to be ending this live stream. I do thank you all very much for tuning in. And like I mentioned, if you want to see the highlights of this game, they are right here. The pinned comment there that I have just put in the chat, I believe, is how you can watch the game. It is going to be how long are the highlights that they have put for this game. They uploaded around 20 or 30 minutes ago. I'm just going to wait and see how long the highlights are. They are 6 minutes. I wish that I could screen share and have it come up here, but they would take us off YouTube, sadly, if that was the case. And we have got a good game, Dan, as well, says Nikolai, and also, or Tesla, sorry, and Chisel. And thank you, Hamish, for the streams as well from Katie Norris. And thank you very much for tuning in. But nonetheless, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We may be back for a La Rochelle versus Toulouse game of the top 14 a little bit later on tonight. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you all for the next one.